Fishing for snapper is almost an obsession for some anglers. It's understandable as they are beautiful looking fish and fantastic eating. They are also a great sport fish, offering rod-jarring strikes and a familiar nod as they fight.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Maybe it's because we can target them from a surf beach, off the rocks, in harbours, or on offshore reefs. There are so many ways to catch snapper, on lures, with baits, spearfishing. There's even some slang names for snapper. We call the big ones moochers, eating fish panties, and refer to snapper as reds. There's a lot of secrets for catching reds, and we're going to reveal some of our best ones today on Fishy Business. Straylining is a term for a technique that involves fishing with little or no weight and letting the bait sink to the bottom in a natural way. Snapper will often take the bait as it sinks, so you must be prepared to let the fish run and strike at the right time. Straylining the bait back and got nailed. The line was ripped out of my hands. Don't usually bait fish in shallow water with braid, but I've got a nice long Saltiga rod which absorbs the shock, and hold the line in my fingers so the fish can just pull it out so it feels no resistance. Oh, that looks quite nice. That's a nice snapper. Oh, the quality of these fish. It's beautiful. Another beautiful fat fish. These hen and chicks fish, they must be just pre-spawning because their bellies are so big. They're going to taste really good. Using a landing net is always recommended, as many fish throw the hook right beside the boat, and it also assists in managing a fish when removing hooks and releasing the fish without damage. Fishing for snapper from the shore can be one of the most challenging ways to catch these great fish, and without doubt rigging the bait properly is very important. I like to use a cocktail of 2 different baits rigged on a 6-bar hook. My favourite bait is either octopus or squid, as they are hard, durable baits which snapper find tricky to get off the hook, matched with a small piece of something oily like skipjack or pilchard. It's important to make sure the bait is well hooked up and the point of the hook is exposed, because if it's covered with the bait, it might not hook the fish when it bites. Bind the bait on with bait cotton and rig it so that it will not spin or twist your line. Remember, bigger baits reduce your casting distance, so try and keep them small when looking for a big cast in the surf. Snapper love fresh bait, so always take the opportunity to catch bait fish when they're around. Well, piper make excellent bait, dead or alive, and they're beautiful to eat. So I'll catch half a dozen of these. Worst case scenario, I've got dinner, I've got bait for my next snapper trip. I just put a piper bait down and left it in the holder, and I was just jumping onto the back of the boat. And my rod just doubled over. This is a better fish for sure. Not a trophy, but it's going to be a good one. Hit really hard. And we've sat on this spot, we've seen sign, we know we're in a good position because we've caught snapper already, and we've just sat on it, and it's paying rewards. Here he comes. There is a saying, big bait, big fish, and this holds true when snapper fishing. Here a large whole squid is used when pickers were nailing normal baits in an annoying way. Notice how Scott takes great care when rigging and adds a couple of half hitches to the bait. This is a great tip as it helps the bait stay on the hook, as it won't tear out as there is no pressure on the hooks. You want Scotty?
Yeah.
Get mine out of the way.
The smaller fish and get onto a more reasonable model, and that's sort of what we've done.
What line have you got on the main line with that?
I'm fishing with 10 kilo. There's a little bit of foul around here. I've got 2 8-bar mustard penetrators on. They're just a nice thin gauge hook, so they go through your bait, and on that lighter line they're nice and easy to set. Got a bit of colour coming up, looks like a good snapper.
Keeping the rod at the right angle with the line tight will prevent snapper from throwing the hook when they run or shake their head.
Might need the net for this one.
That's mine.
Yeah, it's an awesome one. Woo! It's the rig there, we've got 2 hooks, 1 fixed. Yeah, that's the beauty of having 2 hooks as well. You know, if one doesn't hook him, the other one will. I really like to fix that other sliding hook as well, so as soon as you strike the fish, you know, you get purchase straight away. It doesn't have to slide down to meet the knot. 2 little ball sinkers just to naturally weight the bait, so it looks natural going down, and it's paid off with a really nice snapper.
Setting your drag before fishing will make sure you don't lose a big fish during a fight. A good rule of thumb is to set your drag at about 1/3 the breaking strain of your line. Use a scale to do this accurately. I've lost more line than I've got back on this one. He is going for it. I might reverse myself up with the electric. Put it in reverse. Get myself backing up on a snapper. There we go. Hold me in position more than anything. When you're fighting a big fish, it pays to keep over the top of them so they don't bust you off. This could be fish of the day here. With the modern tackle you can apply a lot of pressure, but you still must not rush a fish. When a fish runs, don't wind. Then when it stops, pump and wind. Using a nice light carbon fibre air edge rod. Very, very stiff, the carbon fibre, but you still feel everything that's going on through the line. Every little head shake. I'm loving the feeling of this one. A common mistake is to lift the rod tip too high. All this does is reduce the amount of pull on a fish and risk rod breakage. Starting to get on top of him now. Holding station on the electric motor was probably a good idea. Oh, here he comes. Nice big fish coming up here. Yeah, this is quality. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Slide them in the net. Oh. To care for your catch, try not to let it flap around or get bruised and stressed. Then dispatch it quickly using the icky method with a spike or knife to the brain and ice it down so the flesh will set well before you fillet it.
Okay, so we've got the side cut down to the bones. Turn your knife and go away from yourself, keeping it flat along the backbone, straight through at the back, and release. Turn your knife around and come back towards you, all the way down to the backbone. Now we're going to push up into the rib cage here and just release those little bones across there, nice and easy, keeping your fingers out of the way. Now all we have to do is just run your knife straight down and release the fillet.
For a swim with me and let's see if we can get some snapper fatigue.
Coming up, Darren shares his top tips for chasing winter reds.
New Zealand's upper Northland coastline and islands are rich in rocky faces, gutters and ledges that are home to New Zealand's #1 fish, snapper.
Today's dive's a snapper dive and it's the winter time, it's cold, but the visibility's quite good. So I'm going to take a bit bigger reel gun than I normally take. This is a bit longer. Some of the shots could be a bit further away than what we're used to. So bigger reel gun for a swim with me and let's see if we can get some snapper fatigue.
I've chosen Great Barrier Island as our dive spot today. It lies approximately 90 kilometres from Auckland. The water temperature is around 15 degrees, a little cold for us North Islanders, so I'm wearing a Weddy 7mm jacket with 5mm waist-high pants. I know this area well. I've been spearing it for around 35 years. I never get bored with it and always look forward to days like today when conditions are perfect. The area I'm working has a big rocky drop-off with large boulders that drop to a sandy, broken edge, which the current sweeps past. It's a perfect spot for many species. It's a little deeper than I normally work for snapper, but it's a really good spot. I always stay as low as possible to the rock when approaching an edge. It's amazing how much you silhouette to a fish looking up if you don't. Be careful not to bang your gun against the rock as you approach. Any noise will alert very wary snapper. There's a poor eye, but it has a good feel for snapper. While I'm down, I crack a few sea eggs to drop over the edge of the rock I've chosen as my approach and hide spot. Again, while doing this, I stay as low as possible. Back up on the surface, I gather more sea eggs from the shallows, crack them all, then let them fall into my chosen spot. Because I've cracked them with my knife, when they hit the bottom, they'll open up. When I work one spot like this, I use my weddy drop weight to anchor my float boat, so I'm free to work around it without the hassle of a float line. But for safety from passing boats, I never get too far from it. It doesn't take too long before snappers show up. One stupid one is sitting way up off the bottom, and it allows me to approach it in mid-water. At certain times, snapper can be a little erratic and show little fear of you. Most times you can't get near them if they see or hear you. This is a fish of around 2 to 3 kilos. I love their red colour, but I'm aware of their teeth when handling them, so I don't get too carried away admiring it until I have it secure. They have a habit of biting if a stray finger gets too close to their mouths. Once it's in the weddy float boat, it's safe from sharks and it makes it easy for me to tow when I'm swimming. Note you can flood these boats with water to keep the fish at water temperature. It often doesn't take fish long to go back on a bait if they're hungry. As you can see, there's plenty of fish back on my burley, and this weed is giving me enough cover for my approach. Remember, be quiet as you approach. I like fish of this 2 kg size. The fillet off one side is about right for one person, and the flesh is generally very soft. As I fight it, I pull it away from the burley. You want to disturb the area as little as possible. I've swum back over the top of the rock, getting well out of sight of the other fish. Note the sun is directly behind me. Where possible, this is a must. All the action has brought an octopus out, but remember they are top of the eating list for snapper, so he doesn't want too much attention. It's incredible how they change colour and move so fast. These silver drummer are a curse when you're hunting snapper. They often warn them of your presence. They're not good eating in most people's books and are everywhere, growing up to 10 kgs and more. Away from my burley, I'm finding more snapper. I often swim off to give the burley a break and come back 10 to 15 minutes later. As I said earlier, I've dived this area for so long, I've got to know lots of the gutters and edges where there are always fish. It comes from years of swimming. Most just want to be told the hot spots, drive their boat to it, jump in, shoot the fish and go home. This method means you learn very little. By swimming for long distances, you soon get to know an area better and recognise what makes a good spot and what doesn't, which bodes well for when you go to new spots. All the fish seem of similar size. One thing I do with them all that I haven't shown on camera is after I icky it, I stick the knife into the gill area to bleed them. It makes the meat a lot better. Please make sure you icky your fish as soon as you can. It's humane and will preserve the flesh, stopping the stressing of the fish. My Weddy 120 I'm using with two 14mm rubbers is very easy to load and they pack a very good punch. I use 14mm rubbers on all my guns. One more snapper will make a nice catch for the day. Earlier on I placed a fish frame over this edge. Fish frames last longer than kinnaburley, so can be left longer. You can see how slow I approach. You have to make sure you don't spook a snapper that's off to one side and takes the rest with it. They hide very easily in these kelp stalks. There's plenty of fish on the frame. I wait till most of them have their head down before I approach. One more fish completes my day. You've got to love this place.
And there's a lot of big sign right underneath me. Oh, that's a nice fish.
One of the things that I love about fishing is that each time I head out, it feels like I'm off on an adventure. And I'm really excited about today because for the first time, whānau, I'm going to be heading out on a wave runner. Woo! Oh, it's a glorious morning out of Maraetai. It's like I'm on a motorbike on the water, man. This is awesome! And it's a really calm, beautiful day too, so I'm not getting thrown around.
As you've just seen, today Mandy and I are heading out to do a bit of winter fishing. Winter fishing's the time when a lot of people will put their skis and boats away and won't bother heading out. But I'm going to take Mandy out today to introduce her really to soft baiting. She hasn't done a lot of it. Give her and you guys a few tips and tricks and see if we can't get a feed.
As we passed the bottom end of Waiheke, there was a small workup. But as I pointed out during a quick stop to Mandy, these yellow triangles meant it was a marine reserve where no fishing is allowed, so we pushed on.
Let's go, Kirk. Find us those fish, mate. Find us those fish. This is awesome! And we haven't even started fishing yet. I just went for a ride on a wave runner. So, soft baiting, eh? Soft baiting on a jet ski. This is the first for me. Jet ski fishing, yeah. And soft baiting. I haven't done a lot of soft baiting. Done heaps of slow jigging, stray lining, but not so much the old soft baits. So I'm really keen to learn more about soft baiting. Lucky, Kirk knows quite a bit about it. So, okay, we've got a bit of sign on the sounder. All right. I think I've got everything sussed. I haven't dropped anything over the side, so that's good. Rightio, just got my little, got my soft bait set up to go, 1/4 ounce jig. Kirk told me the flavours of soft baits to get, so hopefully.
Yeah, you're just giving it a little tickle, but then making sure it stays in contact pretty much with the bottom. Once we start drifting a bit faster, once the angle gets too far out the back, if they're not hitting it on that bit where it's sitting on the bottom, then just retrieve it in, cast it out again. Right,
so casting ahead, and then as I'm drifting past, that's when it should be coming near the bottom, and I'm working it up off the bottom.
Yeah, you're just giving it a little tickle, but then making sure it stays in contact. And generally always keep an eye on the sounder, so if there's nothing on the sounder, then I'd move.
It sounds like a good plan. Yeah, cool. All right. Sweet.
So there's a couple of different techniques. So if we cast out, if I show you now, I cast that out ahead of the drift.
Yep.
Because we're drifting that way and the currents, we're kind of drifting that way, but the current's going that way. So it's a very slight drift. And when it gets, you want to kind of keep a feel on it as it's going down.
Yeah.
Often, especially when it's a little bit deeper or when there's a bit of a workup, you'll get hit on the way down, like that.
Yeah, like that, nice.
And you just want to be able to feel that. Then you can work it when it gets to the bottom, you can just work that rod tip a bit.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and what was just working here a minute ago, was just leaving it sitting on the bottom.
Oh, is that right? Oh, yeah.
And they'll just come along different times of year. They feed differently, and even different times of the tide. So if you're not getting anything on the drop or on the jerk, sometimes just drop it down, leave it sitting.
Yeah.
And if you get a few bites and you don't hook up, open your bail arm again and let it drop down and just give it a bit of slack. And often they'll come along and just pick it up and grab it.
Yeah. And what sort of drag settings have you got on?
I'm running about 6 kilo braid, so I'm running, you know, I generally, it's enough that I'd set it to normally maximum 3 kilos.
Yeah.
You know, but generally to start with about 2. You know, that's probably about 2 kilos there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I guess, you know, for when it hits the bottom, is like, so the line's drifting out, and then it just stops,
It'll
right?
just
so you're
stop,
looking
yep.
for that. Oh, there we go.
Yep. You're looking for that stop, and then when you get a strike, when you get if you feel a hit,
yeah,
you don't strike.
Right.
Like on bait, you just generally lift the rod, and by lifting the rod, you'll feel if it's got it in its mouth, and then you just wind that tight. Just kind of wind the bend into the rod, and that sets the hook.
Okay.
If you pull it away, sometimes it'll just pull it out of their mouth.
Ah.
We spied some birds in the distance, so with the tutorial complete, I started the wave runner and powered my way there.
Come on, baby. Woo, let's go. I've catched the island already. Woohoo! Hang on, Kirk! I'm coming! Put the safety thing on.
With Mandy enthusiastically in my wake, I was about to realise that I'd forgotten to teach her that you can't turn or stop a ski if you've turned it off.
Come across a heap of birds. Hit reverse, reverse, reverse. Yeah, reverse, never stop. If you stop, that's what... Oh, fish on! Oh, that's a nice fish.
Yeah, I feel like I helped Kirk by nudging him into that big snapper. You're welcome, mate. You are welcome.
Oh, that is a good one. Mandy's just come alongside, giving me a little hello nudge.
I'm still learning how to do reverse.
And this is a good fish. It's either a kingfish or a big, big snapper. But we'll find out shortly. I'm gonna have to chase this fish. It's a good sized fish. Come out from under this workup. And he is going hard. Got some good head nods on him. It's kind of starting to feel a bit more like a snapper. So who knows? It's not running as far now, so here we go.
Oh my gosh, you kicked fish.
I actually think it's a snapper now. It's got that feeling.
Yep, I'm on. Wicked.
It's got some nice power. Just got to keep an eye out at this time of year for these big workups. Just erupted out of nowhere. We were fishing just a few metres away. Oh, here he comes, he's a big snapper.
Oh mate, that's a beauty. Yee-hoo! Hawaii.
And in he goes. Yeah, boy. You on? Oh, yes. So, as I land this one, Mandy's just hooked up to a nice one as well.
Because you are my first fish on a jet ski, I'm going to let you go. Yeah.
And there's a lot of big sign right underneath me. Hooks come out of this guy. He looks like he's fresh. How's that for a nice snapper? What a beautiful fish. I'm going to let him go. That's going to sit in the current, attracting anything that swims past.
Another Beautiful little Hauraki Gulf snapper. Much as I've enjoyed the soft baiting, because we've got workups happening, I can't help it. I have to get out. I have to get out my jewellery box and switch to the slow jigs. Look at that, I moved 5 metres over, closer to where Kirk is, and now I've got sign. No, it was quiet over there, so I just come over here and now I can see some... I was like, man, I feel like I'm about 10 metres off the pace. Nibble straight away. Take it, take it. Come on now. Yes. Look at that, I was 5 metres off of the pace.
What a lot of people will do after the birds leave is they'll leave with them, and sometimes it's not what you want to do, because if you watch your sounder, you'll see that there's still a lot of fish on the bottom, and some of them can be good fish.
Are you an eater? Are you an eater? Oh yeah! Yes you are. Beautiful. First little snapper on a slow jig on a jet ski.
Man, that took off hard, that thing. I thought it was a kingy for sure.
I've switched from soft baits to slow jigs because soft baits were taking a bit long to get down, and I love slow jigging. Especially here in the Gulf. Because of the sandy bottom, these jigs, slow jigs, seem to work a treat. And you can get down to where the fish are a lot faster. Soft bait drifts down, whereas these slow jigs tend to get down a lot faster. So while the action's happening in these workups, there's no mucking around. You got to get down. Here we go. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, another little eater. Beautiful. Oh, come here, mate. Woohoo! Fish for dinner. Alrighty. Another beautiful little Hauraki Gulf snapper. Yum!
There's a number of different types of soft baits. The one I'm going to use at the minute is called a Squid Vicious, this one. Long dangly legs, and I like those long dangly legs because they're a really good attractant. And what you need to do to put it on is you want it to be sitting like that when it's on. So hook down through the nose, push it around till the hook comes out there, put it on nice and straight. That's going to sit in the current, attracting anything that swims past. The other couple of baits, just called a jerk shad, and this is a crazy legs version of it. So again, a kind of a mix. This is more like a bait fish. This is like a bait fish as well, but with those long legs behind it to kind of, as a kind of a hybrid between this and this.
One of the things that I love about jet ski fishing is as you're standing up fighting the fish, you can see it swimming around just right there at your feet. You can see straight down into the water. Just trying to get them in these last couple of metres. It's exciting and it's intense.
And we're on again. Kahawai everywhere.
Mandy's slow jigs were working well, however we were being inundated by kahawai anywhere near the workups. Kahawai are a great fighting fish and feed voraciously on bait schools all year round. When the pilchards start entering the Hauraki Gulf en masse from late winter, they are always marked by these blue and silver warriors, feeding hard on this popular bait fish. The commotion that this action creates is a dinner bell for snapper, and when it's on, snapper will be found feeding on the scraps on the bottom all the way to the top, mixed in with the kahawai, kingfish, dolphins, whales and birds, all of whom are getting in on the action. The kahawai will fight all the way to the ski, often with a few spectacular aerial displays along the way, darting from one side to the other. This one had a little gift for me, perfectly illustrating why we were all here.
And look at that. He's just coughed up a pilchard. That's what they're eating. That's what all these birds and fish are in here for, is these pilchards. Since he's coughed it up, I'm going to thread it on as a soft bait. Not really a soft bait, kind of obviously a dead bait, but I'm going to thread it on as if it was a soft bait. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Let's see what that gets us. Tangle.
Can I just say that I am hooked on jet ski fishing? Boom.
Grabbed it right on the bottom, and I'll tell you what, that's one out of the book.
I love jet ski fishing!
Rightio, I've just come across a little patch of sign on the bottom, just come up a rise from about 23 metres up to 17. Nice bit of sign there, so I'm dropping straight down into it. We'll see if we can't get ourselves a nice eating snapper.
Finding the snapper on the Lawrence and dropping straight into them can often provide great results.
Oh, inquiry straight away. Oh, that is a good sign. Still there. Still there. Oh, come on. Push on. Straight away we're into one. Found them on the sounder, dropped down that soft bait, and boom, straight away. It's not a monster, but hey, it's winter. We're out to catch a feed. And this guy feels like he's going to be the perfect pan-sized snapper. Here he comes. What a beauty. Look at that. That is exactly what we're after. Dropping down a soft bait onto some sign, straight away hooking up.
So on this sounder, you're looking for the bigger red, deeper red arches?
Yeah. I've changed tactic now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do very, very short drifts. I'm just going to drive, look for the sign and drop straight into it. If there's nothing in it, I'll just wind up and go to the next spot, look for the next bit of sign, the next bit of sign. I was just saying to Mandy, if you don't get a bite on the bottom, even if there's a lot of sign showing, lift up and do it again, because there's something about that soft bait dropping through the water column that really gets the fish excited. So I did that and instantly I've hooked up. Dropped down into the same piece of water, the same patch of sign that the soft bait was sitting in on the bottom, and I've hooked up. And it just goes to show when they're in predatory mode, they want to see that bait fish coming down at them.
All right, getting the hang of this, mate.
If you fight it out the side, it'll turn the ski around to it.
Oh yeah, hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, if you take your rod towards the front, it'll just pull the front
That'll
round.
turn the ski around too. Oh yeah, mate, that's cool. I've been doing circles around the ski all day. Oh, nice. Good tip.
Oh, yep. I'm hoping that'll happen. Basically, look at that sign, see the sign, drop into it, and hook up straight away. I love it when a plan comes together.
There was some nice eating size fish here, giving Mandy a good opportunity to hone her newly acquired soft baiting skills.
Man, all the difference is in that knowing when it hits the bottom and then waiting for those touches. Yeah, and then knowing you know, one, not to strike the hell out of it.
And he's in the net. That's a nice pan-sized winter snapper. Still a lot of sign under me, so I'm going to get this guy quickly unhooked and back in the water. There he is, back in the water to swim another day. And get that back over the side to catch another fish.
Another good little leader. Rightio, Kirk, I think I'm ready for you to teach me how to catch the bigger ones now, mate. Oh, that's lesson 2, is it? Oh, yeah. Is that another invite, is it? Yeah. I'll take that. Boom. Nuclear chicken again. Like it. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Nuclear chicken again. Boom.
Oh! Big fish. Grabbed it right on the bottom. And it's still going. That is a good fish. I'm hoping it's a nice big snapper. It's just a great example of what can come from looking for sign on the sounder. I could see this nice bit of sign. We were looking at it and dropped straight into it, and bang, a nice fish on. So far, he's only not even halfway up yet. Well, he's about halfway now, just getting into the orange, so I'm 10 metres down. He's still got some fight in him. Got some power in that tail. Oh, here comes some colour. That's got some nice colour. That is a beauty. Look at that for a soft-baited snapper. Here he comes. Oh, and he's in the net, and that's a monster fish. Holy.
Right, where was that drift line again?
He's a good candidate to release this one. We're in shallow enough water, so I'm just going to go a bit easy with him. If he gets off, if he gets away, he gets away. When you are handling a fish you intend to release, you've got to treat it with respect. The rubber net protects the fish from damage, and having wet hands helps when touching it. Never put your fingers in or near its gills, as this will kill it. How is that for a beautiful soft-baited snapper? Out here on a beautiful winter's day with Mandy, giving her and you guys some tips and tricks about how to catch some nice soft-baited snapper. And I'll tell you what, that's one out of the book. Oh yeah, he's just about back to the bottom.
All right, can I just say that I am hooked on jet ski fishing. I learnt that you call it a ski or a wave runner. I learnt about soft baiting, just basics of soft baiting from Kirk. I learnt so much today and I am totally hooked on ski fishing now. Kurt, can I be your new best friend?
Sure.